To our analyst desk.
Thank you, gentlemen. You know, that was a game that we were looking at, and we're saying that it probably should have ended sooner than it did.
Yeah.
Due to a few miscommunications and misplays there by Team Liquid moving through the mid-game. But let's first look at how they got to that mid-game, that state in which they did have the lead. Laning phase, we saw CS advantages pretty much across the board.
Yeah. Yep. So, and in the jungle as well. It wasn't just all the lanes. During the lane swap, where all the lanes were actually fairly even early on, Dominate had a 400 gold lead really early before the lanes even swapped back. And then once they swapped back, we saw Phoenix taking his lead, Quas taking his lead, and the bottom lane, you know.
Yeah, to talk about some of the specifics there, Dom has kind of quickly become one of the farm-heavy junglers. Like, back in Season 3, it was Meteos who would always have a gold lead by farming out, out-farming everyone else. It seems to be Dominate now. He's still one of the players who will actually go back and play Sejuani and not gank to level 6, and he's just seems to be repeatedly getting farm leads because of this. As far as the mid lane matchup goes, yet again, AP Ezreal loses lane, not a big surprise there, doesn't do much. Free farm for Phoenix, that's cool. Top lane matchup when it swapped back, Gnar is still one of those premier top lane bullies, and Maokai got a couple sustained nerfs a month or two ago. It actually matters a little bit in his early laning phase. And then the bot lane as well, I really like. You can play Sivir Janna as a heavy push lane. You give her the AD shield, she ricochets the wave down. You can make Vayne lose CS under turret. But what they chose to do, which I thought was very smart, is Dom wants to farm, and Rek'Sai's a scary ganker. And Alistar, Rek'Sai will kill your bot lane. And I was glad to see that Piglet, despite having some hubris as a person, he's like, we will probably die, even though I probably don't respect these guys. So I'm gonna let it play safely and let us farm out. That's my, proposed mindset for Piglet. There was he played it defensively because it was the right choice, not just because he couldn't have played aggressively.
All right, so Team Liquid played out the early game correctly. Now, where we saw that gold lead kind of balloon was in that one dragon fight where TDK had the dragon stolen away, but then decided to engage that fight entirely. Things just seemed to kind of fall apart from there.
Yeah, I mean, they started the dragon when they have a poke comp with Ezreal. They were behind in gold. They had no reason to really start it. Both top laners had teleport, and they paid the price for it. In that specific fight, Ninja didn't do much damage at all. He got like one spell off because Phoenix was able to take him out in the fight. So you see really high damage numbers for poke champions pretty much across the board. Yeah. But the meaningful damage in the fights that matter, that's where, Phoenix really shines and Azir took over.
Yeah, and it's a little bit disheartening to TDK. I was talking to Smoothie before the game. He said their week's worth of scrims were really good. They were feeling confident coming in. And this is the squad that had been playing together. Like, we talk about roster swaps all the time and how you take time to build synergy. This is the team that's built synergy. And the fact they're not able to play a poke team properly, right? They're getting collapsed on a dragon when you should be baiting dragon and saying, go fight for this ward, poke, poke, poke. They're just on it and getting jumped on. And that's when the engage is an unreliable Gragas ult, an unreliable Gnar ult, an unreliable Azir ult, like, those are things you can poke around and play around. And unfortunately, TDK didn't do that.
Oh yeah, there also was that miscommunication when Vayne got chunked out and Seraph goes for the engage. That's just pretty much the nail on the top.
So some miscommunications there for TDK, but some miscommunications on the side of Team Liquid as well, as we saw the one big fight that, TDK was able to take under their own bottom inhib turret, Dominate, getting a little bit too ahead of himself and the rest of the team going under the turret with that, with the Cinder Hulk to pull aggro. And it kind of brings up the question of going in against TSM tomorrow, what are they going to need to shore up to have a much cleaner game against a much better team?
Be a bit more patient. Obviously, I think they disrespected the Ezreal damage because they never had a fight with Ezreal doing anything. And then when you get Alistar comboed into Ezreal, that's actually a lot of damage. And if Ninja was approaching level 16, that's even more damage. And you have to respect the fact that even if you're up 10,000 gold, CC just negates that. So just be more smart about your fights. They obviously played very well.
I think that was a single unforced error right there. He knows that's not a good idea to go under turret and draw aggro like that. So, yeah.
All right, well, yeah, they've got some time to discuss it and whether or not they need to make any changes before tomorrow. But when we come back in 3.5 minutes, Counterlogic Gaming will try to get their groove back when they take on Enemy Esports. Don't go anywhere. The action continues after this.
Actually, today's Steve's birthday.
Okay, let's get Steve a win.
Yeah.
Do it for Steve.
Yep.
For Big Steve.
That's the motivation.
Big Steve.
Phoenix back on the entire team. The bump on Ninja and Kez. They can't even put out the DPS. Seraph, Emperor, and Smoothie all now on the run. There's the Monsoon. Oh, bops him back. Dominating with a nice explosive cast. We could get a deja vu here, but they disengage nicely. Oh, wow. Smoothie comes in huge. They start to delete Team Liquid. TDK was looking for this fight the entire time.
Just hit the front line, front line, Rek'Sai.
Going. Okay, nice.
Vayne. Okay, you can hit.
Team Liquid take down TDK.